It was in grade 3 that I first noticed the odd way the world seemed to bend when I looked at Christian. He was always just a little taller than me, always smiling just a little brighter, and he had a knack for making numbers sound like they could dance. I, on the other hand, had never really gotten the hang of math. But that didn't matter. There was something else that held my attention. The way he would lean over to help me with my homework. His words simple, yet somehow still full of mystery. I couldn't quite understand why, but I felt a flutter every time he sat next to me. At 8, you don't quite know how to name those feelings, so you simply live them, unaware of the layers they will grow into over time. Christian had this quiet energy, this way of filling up a room even when he wasn't trying. I began to notice the warmth that bloomed in my chest every time he was near. And I realized that I had a crush on him, a deep, innocent kind of crush that I didn't know how to explain even to myself. And somehow, as if the universe itself had spun the threads of this story, I discovered that he too had a crush on me. It was a strange, surreal moment, like a secret whispered between the walls of the classroom. We were just children, yet it felt as if we were standing at the edge of something bigger, something we couldn't name. I didn't know what it was called back then, but we were into each other. He would share his food with me, offer me small snacks during lunch breaks, and sometimes, when the bell rang, he'd invite me to his house for a quick bite before heading home. Life was simple, pure, and for once, it felt like we were both existing in the same magical fleeting moment. But then, as things often go in stories that are too beautiful to last, Christian transferred schools before the end of the year. There were no goodbyes, no words, no final moment. He simply vanished from my life, as if he were just a dream, a fleeting memory I could never touch again. I moved on, as children do, but I carried his absence with me. A quiet ache that seemed to follow me from grade to grade, even as I moved through the motions of my school years. Years passed, and I became caught up in the rhythm of life, as high school was nothing more than a ticking of a clock, the passage of time without any sense of real change. That was until the final year of high school, when the universe, always full of strange coincidences, decided to bring me face to face with a familiar figure. The first time I saw him again, I wasn't sure if it was truly him. He had long hair now, a shimmer to his lips that caught the light, and a tote bag hanging from his shoulder. A fan in his hand, which he flicked through the air with a sort of effortless grace. It was like staring into the mirror of time, but the reflection was different. He wasn't the same Christian I had known. When our eyes met, something in my chest tightened. There was recognition, sure, but something else, something I couldn't quite put into words. He was my classmate now. A classmate, but he wasn't the boy I remembered. He was different. He told me matter-of-factly that he was gay, and I stood there, frozen for a moment, unsure of how to process it. What happened? I wanted to ask, but the words never came. Instead, I simply nodded, a vague sense of loss swirling inside me. He was happy though, surrounded by a group of female friends, laughing, and yet there was this distance between us. It was as if we were two people living in a parallel universes, only touching occasionally. I never asked him about grade 3, about the little crush we'd shared. What was the point? Time had blurred everything. He was different, and I was different too. But I still watched him, silently from a distance. He had become someone new, someone more beautiful, more confident, more everything than I was, and yet, part of me felt content. If he had found the happiness he needed, then I was happy too. As he moved through the halls, I wondered if he ever thought about the past, about the small moments we had shared. But that thought was quickly swallowed by the knowledge that time doesn't wait for anyone. And so, We remained strangers in the same room, our past untold, our futures unknown, and that was enough.